Alright, and welcome. Okay, so today I decided to build the game Space Invaders. If you don't know what it is, go look it up online. Old arcade game. Pretty fun and a lot of interesting stuff, so I like building these little games. Anyway, I'm starting off with a little bit of code. Here we have a background. It's set to our window size, and then we got this player in here. So if I save this and I open it up in the browser, that is what our game looks like. So basically, we're this little spaceship. We can control them on the bottom. Spaceships are going to come in, and we got to shoot them. So we're going to focus on the shooting in this part of the game. I'm going to do this one in a couple different parts because then the videos don't get so long. Okay, so we have a player. So first off, let's take care of the player. Let's get him everything he needs. We got to give him a type so we can do collision detection. He was huge. I'm going to set his size. I think I wanted him a little longer. Let's go like 35 by 20. No idea what that looks like. Let's move him, let's center him, and then send him to the bottom. It says he's going to live on the floor. Okay, I don't know what else we need with the player. He probably, he's good to have friction. We'll have him go right as he is. Oh, that's teeny. Look how small he is. Okay, let's go 75 by 40. See how squished he is. That'll work. Maybe we'll make him a little bigger. That'll do. Alright, so there's our player. Let's get him moving. So do a little key down function. And let's see, I'll move him with the A key. So we're going to build this player. He's going to be able to move back and forth. And then as the spaceships come in, he's going to be able to shoot them. But we're not going to do the spaceships today. Let's see, A key would be left. And then let's build the player moving right. I usually work on a Mac. I don't know if I've said that before, but I record these on Windows and it throws me off. Alright, so let's save that. And if I hit the A key, he goes that way. Ooh, he's fast. That's a little too fast. Let's slow him down a little bit. There we go. That's more like Space Invaders. You have to have very precise movements. Recovery is a premium. Alright, so he's moving around. Let's build the bullet. Okay, so let's just do a standard bullet at first. So let's say I hit the, who knows? Let's say I hit the W key, okay? So if I key down on the W key, what do we want to happen? Well, the computer will do whatever I tell it to. If I say player.center, guess what's going to happen when I hit the W key? It will run all of its code between these brackets. That's what all of these functions do. So if I were to come here and refresh, this obviously isn't part of the game, and then I hit W out of nowhere, player ends up in the middle. So just, you got to know what functions do. They just sit and listen for some event to take place. What event is it listening for? For the W key to get pressed. And what happens when the W key gets pressed? Everything between these brackets. And it's about to get a lot of stuff in there. Okay, so when I hit W, we need to create an object. So we want to create, I'll just call it a missile. And it's an image, right? Just like everything else. I think I was using, I can't remember. You know, I build the games really fast, so I don't mess up too much when I'm doing them live. But then I can never really remember what I really did. I'm going to call it bullet, because that's what that was spelled very wrong. Okay, so bullet.type equals a bullet. I keep spelling it like that. Okay, so we have our bullet, and we need to move it to the player. So our bullet is going to get moved to, how do we move it to the player? The player could be anywhere. We take the player's object name, boom, right there, and we're going to put a .x. And then we're going to go player.y. Now that's not going to be exact. That'll move him to the top left corner, because that's where the thing is. So if I wanted it centered, I could do, let's see, player.x, I'm just going to guess. Well, how big is he? He is 75 wide, so half of 75 is 32.5. Okay, and we'll probably have to move it up a little bit, which would actually be minus. We'll see what that does. Okay, so if I were to save and refresh this right now and hit the W key, there's my bullet. If I move over here, it follows me. Anywhere where I move, that's where the bullet goes. And I can paint this whole town diamond. So That lets us know we need a few more things. The bullet needs a size. I'm just going to set the width. Let's set the width to 10 so we can make it a little bit smaller. The bullet needs to have no friction. And the bullet needs to get pushed up. Okay, we'll push it up by 15, I guess. I don't remember what I did. Okay, so if I refresh, boom, look at that. There's our bullet humming. Now I can just hold down, I could clear out the whole sky like this. That's not a very fun game. So let's put some limitations on it. So let's create a new variable. Let's create a variable called shoot. And shoot is true. He can shoot. So now let's go ahead and create an if statement. So if shoot is equal to true, then this code is allowed to run. Notice the brackets again. Brackets are very important. They tell the program who belongs to who. Now the very first thing we want to do after we shoot is we want to set shoot to false. So if we were to leave it as is, shoot would go to false, and every time we push the W key, it would try and ask the question, is shoot true? So if I go ahead and hit refresh, shoot was true one time. I can only shoot once. So we need a way of turning it back to true. So in JavaScript, there's a function called a set timeout function. And this set timeout function will run after a certain amount of time passes. I'm actually going to make this a variable because we want to do something with it. So I'm going to say W. I'm going to make W 900. Yeah, I hit two buttons at the same time all the time. Okay, so then let's say shoot, you have waited long enough, head back to true. So let me save and refresh. It's not as fun. So now it shoots every once in a while, and if we change this number right here to 90, for example, and hit refresh, then it starts peppering a little bit like a machine gun. So this is what is allowing us to control how often the person can shoot, and we're just doing it based on time they have to wait. We don't have ammo in there. We could do ammo, you could do ammo packets, all sorts of stuff to reset the variables, but we just have to wait a certain amount of time. Alright, so let's say that we got a power-up. I'm not going to do power-ups in this video, I'm going to do them in another video, but let's say we got a power-up that let us shoot 3 bullets at once. How would you code shooting 3 bullets all at the same time? You hit the W key, bam, it happens. Let's go like this. So what we would do is we'd create a for loop. Var 0 and I, as long as I is less than 3, and each time we run through this for loop, we are going to increase I by 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in. Here is my for loop. Now the one thing is, if we don't move the bullet to new locations, then it'll do 3 bullets, but they'll all be right on top of each other. So that's kind of the unique code of shooting 3 bullets at once. So let's go ahead and say, so when the for loop runs the first time, I is 0. So if I is equal to 0, then go ahead and put the bullet right there. Else if I is equal to 1, so remember it's going to run once for 0, and then it will increase itself. Once for 1, because 1 is still less than 3, and then it will increase itself. Another time for 2, and then it will increase itself. Now 3 is not less than 3, so once it gets to 3, it's going to exit this for loop. So let's go ahead and move this to half of 32.5, which seems to be somewhere around 16.25. Alright, and then let's go ahead and do another else if. Else if I is equal to 2, then boom, there we go, and we're going to add 16 to that, which would be 48. 75. Let's see if that's any good. Okay, so now when I hit W, I'm expecting this for loop to run and generate me 3 bullets right off the bat. So let's go ahead and hit it. Oh, there they are. They're not very far apart. So we could come in here, my math must not have been good, and at this point, I just start guessing. I just say, let's do some trial and error here. We can even go out a lot more than that. Let's go out 2, let's go out 65. These are not balanced, so the bullets, oh, that's not terrible. Okay, so there he is shooting 3 bullets. Now if we wanted to even add in for these little bullets, a little, let's see, a push left. Let's go bullet dot push left. Now we can get some sideways motion on them too. Save, refresh. See, that one kind of goes off on its own. And you can do the same with this one. You can go copy it and do a push right. Okay, boom, save, refresh, and there you go. Now we got 3 bullets, a little bit of spread action going on. You could do 4 bullets, 5 bullets. All you have to do is change this number and then add in the if statement of where you want that individual bullet to show up. Okay, so I want to show you one other thing that I think is pretty cool. It gets into some trigonometry. I am going to comment out a few things, so hopefully this doesn't mess you up. I'm going to basically get rid of our for loop, okay? And I'm going to leave that there in case I want to bring the for loop back. So if I refresh now, I get an error. Forgot to undo U. Now let's go here, and we're back to shooting 1 bullet. Okay, so I'm going to now build a bullet, build a way for the player to now shoot based on a sine curve. So if you know trigonometry, you have sine, cosine, tangent, all these weird things. And sine, I don't know if I explain it very well, but it's a number between -1 and +1, and anywhere in between. And so it has this little curve motion. It's called a sine curve. So the way that we do that is we need to keep track of a number. So I'm going to call it time, and we're going to start it at 0. And then time is going to increase every time we push the W key. This is inside the W key. So every time we push the W key, time is going to increase. Now we need to build this little way of mathematically doing this sine curve. So I'm going to create a bullet X, because Y, he's just going to keep going up. Only his X position is going to change. So X equals math.sine, and then we need to go time times 0.5 times math.pi. I believe that's it. So what this is doing is we're going to take time, which is a number, and it's going to change every time. 0, 1, 2, 3. We're going to times it by 0.5. So we're going to take half that number. So now we either have a whole number or a decimal point. And depending on that number, it's going to either be negative or positive, but it will follow a pattern. Okay, and now if I times this sign right here by, this will determine kind of the width, how much of the X graph, so basically from -50 to 50, so it's going to cover 100 pixels if I times it by 50 there. Now all I have to do is I need to take this move to, I'm going to put it underneath, and I need to add this bullet X, to my X position. Okay, now watch what happens here. And I didn't change the timeout function, so it's going to happen really slow. So I'm holding it down, and it's going through the minimum and maximum of the curve. So a little bit on the outside, so I should probably times it by 45. Now let me show you what's really going on here by lowering how much time we have to wait to shoot. So there we go. So now it's peppering really fast, and you can see the sine curve happening with each individual bullet. Now let's say you wanted more bullets. I want more than 3. Well, 0.5 gives us 3 because we have the negative number, the positive number, and then the number in between. If you do like 0.25, now we're going to get some more bullets. So now it's going to hit more areas and more points on that sine curve. If we do 0.05, it's going to take a long time for it to get through every piece of that sine curve. So you can see it's going back from the minimum to the maximum. I think it's pretty cool. So and then if we go 0.3 is probably good right there. So let's say that we enjoyed this. I didn't try this in my little demos. I built things real quick. Let's see if we can get 3 bullets doing that. So if I come here and let's uncomment this. This is trial and error. Let's see what happens here. And I'm going to need these two to be up here. Alright, so when the bullet is, so our first time through the for loop, we're going to move it there. Okay, so now let's uncomment all this stuff. And all we have to do is go like this, and it says, oh, you need another parenthesis. I know that. There we go. Alright, let's see what happens. I don't know what to expect here. There we go. So there's our pattern. Here's all of our bullets following this sine curve with a little bit of slant mixed in. Okay, so that would be a pretty cool power-up. Now you can see there's some bullets coming way out here. Unrealistic. But maybe if we just did the middle. Okay, I backed it up, so now only the middle one should be full of a sine curve. Oh, there we go. That's pretty cool. So there's lots of different ways to get your player to shoot. That's one of them. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful with for loops and understanding how you can control variables on how often your guy can shoot. Alright, great job guys. In other videos I'm going to keep going with this game. We'll see you later.